Got it.
Okay, got it. Hey, Laura! Yahoo! 2022. I am so excited to be here.
Yeah, so am I. You know what? You realize we did get to say happy Merry Christmas to everybody, but we didn't
Right.
get to do it in person. So Merry
Mhm.
Christmas belated, and
Yes.
Happy New Year. I mean,
Yes.
I started the new year kind of different.
Yes, we did.
You know, I'm sure you guys all heard we had the COVID, but we didn't get
Mhm.
it from each other. So we were in different houses. We didn't see each other, but it's really out there. And I'm telling you, and Debbie will tell you a little bit more, but it was hard. It was hard on some people. And it didn't matter if you're vaccinated or not vaccinated, people are getting it in anyway. We're just telling you to be safe. We're not going to go into a lot of stuff, but all we could say is God had blessed us to get better. And
Mhm.
you know what? Through the whole thing, you realize a lot of things when you're really sick and you can't do anything and you're thinking that people die from this. You start thinking about your life and you start
Mhm.
thinking about what is really important to you. Well, with Debbie and I always been doing that. We did that last year, but you really, it was right in front of you. And you know, so that's why we came up with a good thing for us this year. Debbie, would you like to share that?
Well, you know what? We have this really cool motto, and of course, Lori is our executive person who does all of the beautiful like pictures, and she, when we do our announcements, and she's got this up there, and we said, believe in your journey of life and make this like your best year. And you
Right.
know what, guys? We got some stuff we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about like some of the things that we can do to start off our year on the right foot. Unfortunately, we're starting it off a little bit later than we wanted to on our platform here. And we do want to say we appreciate all the prayers because we know people were praying for both of us. And, yeah, we were both really sick. I mean, we were both really sick. And, what we're going to say this is that we're going to just say that we're not going to want anybody making any comments on, like treatment or this or that or what or anything. And we're not going to share that either. We're not going to talk about that kind of stuff. We're just going to say, yeah, we were really sick and we were down. And yeah, it makes you put your life in perspective because you're like, okay, you really can't do things. We didn't get to celebrate Christmas the way that we normally would. Lori didn't get to do it the way she normally would. We actually had to kind of postpone a lot of stuff, but it is what it is. So, but I gotta say, I'm so thankful for not because of just that. I'm thankful for 2022 because, guys, it's got to be better, right? And we can make things better in our own life by simple, practical things that we can implement. And gratitude is one of the best things that we can all do. I mean, guys, we should be thankful for waking up in the morning and being able to take a breath. Okay, we should be thankful for everything because there's people out there that have struggles in every area. So, Laura, why don't you start us off with some of these things? Because honest to God, we talk about this all the time, you
Well,
know?
we talked about this, but we thought this would be a great way to start the new year. But I want to say one thing, Debbie, about being grateful. Grateful to be able to eat again.
Yes.
I don't know about you. I went like 4 days without eating. So,
I,
and
I
I'm like,
actually, I got dehydrated
yeah,
twice and it was like, oh, son of a gun, I know better. What is wrong with me? And yeah, but that's okay. We're all good. We're here.
that's right. Um, but you know, we have a lot of reasons to be thankful. Okay. And again, like Debbie said, it was, and even anybody that's going through anything major right now, we have to stop what we're doing. There's too many negative things out there. We were just talking about this yesterday that it all depends on what you read, is how your attitude is going to be. And it's so true because I sat there, I even read something today, Debbie, and the audience that said these stories are no longer in the Bible anymore. And I'm like, why would somebody write something like that? So, you know, me being curious, I opened it up and they were talking about these different stories in the Bible and they had all the references there. They were just getting people trying to read it. But if you were the type of person that just read headlines, you would have this thing like, okay, well, even the Christian church is falling apart. You know,
Yeah.
so be careful for what you read and start implementing some positive reading things because this world's got so many crazy things going on. And you
Right.
know what? We just got to let it go. We got to move forward because if we stay in this this spot of negativity, we're never going to move forward, you know? So that's my thing. But, you know, here it talks about writing letters, right? We talked
Mhm.
about this before, writing letters to friends, um, writing letters to, you know, even if you write letters for the future of for your kids, you know, say, hey, I was,
Mhm.
you know, there's all kinds of stuff because writing letters is from your heart. It's not the internet, it's not even an email, it's writing letters. And you know what? Not only is the person that's getting the letters going to learn and get excited and be happy about it, you are too, because you're writing down what you're doing, and it's just, I just think it's fantastic and stuff. I once gave a Bible to my granddaughter for her baptism, and in there I put a note, and
Oh
I told
yeah.
my son, don't open this until I actually sealed it. I said, this is for Josie, and when she gets older, I want her to have this letter. You know, it's just that kind of stuff. It goes back to what the old fashioned way of doing things. Do you have anything to say about that, Dom?
I do. I have something to say. You know what's really fun is
What?
put a special note somewhere for somebody. So like sometimes like I'll put a note in like I haven't done it, but I'm going to do it Monday. I'm going to put a note in Mariano's lunchbox when I make his lunch, right? But listen to this one. Like whenever my husband travels, which he hasn't, but lately, but like if he was going on a trip, I tuck a little note in his suitcase and say, "Hey, have a great time. I know you got this," or whatever, because he was like doing something or whatever. And I have saved notes from my mother. I have notes and it's cool. It's so cool. And I've saved greeting cards, like happy birthday cards and things like that. And I think those are really cool too and impactful because you can write something special in there. And I've got those like saved, you know? And so this is fun stuff. I also, taking it one more notch, but like this is kind of a little off kilter, but like recipes and stuff that were handwritten, those are kind of cool. You know, it'd be kind of cool to take those and copy them and pass them on to our grandkids. You
Right.
know, the handwritten ones, you
Yeah, the
know?
handwritten ones. I mean, I don't know, you know, like when my grandmother passed away, the recipes and stuff like that. I think my cousin Ange took most of them, but it was so nice to see her handwriting. And you
Hmm.
know what? I have a letter that my father wrote to his parents when he was in the army.
Really?
Some of the stuff in there, I'm like, I can't believe my dad wrote that. But he was, you know, he was in his early 20s, and somebody gave it, one of my cousins gave it to me when they were going through some stuff. And I just cherish it. It's in his handwriting and everything. And like
Yeah,
your mom, oh, she was such a wonderful lady.
thank
You
you.
know, she used to say, my Debbie, my Debbie. I love it. Debbie, you want to go on to the next thing?
Sure, sure. Okay, so meditate. Okay, so we're not promoting any religion
Yeah,
completely or whatever. So whatever your you know your belief is, but it doesn't mean that it has to be geared towards exactly religion. You know, you need to have time to kind of reflect. Okay, so I think that looking back on going through us being sick and stuff, we were shut down to the fact where we just were like, okay, you had to kind of take care of yourself and get better and everything. So it made you kind of stop for a second, made you kind of think and smell the roses, kind of, you know? And
right.
so I think this is something you should implement. And it's a way to actually help promote happiness and connect with your core values and your viewpoints and everything. And so Lori knows I do this a little bit. I make a cup of coffee in the afternoon and I generally pick up my grandson. So I kind of leave a little earlier than I need to. And I'm in my car, I park on the side and I try to just kind of decompress and kind of sometimes maybe it's something in my mind. I'm praying for somebody or maybe I'm just thinking or whatever. So that's to me, meditation, you know, kind of like chilling out, kind of reflecting is a really, really, really powerful tool. Very powerful.
Yeah, it is.
Exercise, a powerful exercise.
Right. It's a powerful exercise. And I don't know if we've talked about this before, but anybody ever seen the movie War Room?
Mm.
It is,
Mhm.
in fact, I want to watch it today. It's just where she had a room instead of her like getting on her husband's case on stuff, she would go in the room and she would pray to God, and then she was meditating there. Sometimes when there's a lot of noise around you, and like we're talking negative noise, even
Yeah.
positive, you can't concentrate. Sometimes
Right.
you can't hear what you need to do. And you
Mhm.
know what? we're not promoting Catholicism, but Debbie and I are both Catholic, and both her and I go to what they call an adoration chapel. I haven't been
Hmm.
there recently, but Debbie goes every day almost. And it is a room, it has the host of Jesus Christ, and it's called the Monstra, but that's beside the point. You go in there, and even if you don't know any of the Catholic prayers, you just go in there and you meditate, and you would not believe how peaceful it is. We both love it. But there's also books in there that you could
Hmm.
grab and say prayers and stuff from there. But that's a great thing. But having somewhere where it's just quiet and all you hear is what you're supposed to hear. Like I always say, God's,
Right.
but you don't realize it until you turn all the noise around you, what you could do. So, any thoughts on that, or you could go on to the next one, Deb?
Sure. No, I think you did phenomenal. That's so good. And I think it's like you said, it's kind of like a good exercise, and we all be, we all have our ways of doing it. Keeping a journal. Okay. So I think that keeping a journal based on even writing down your thoughts of how you feel, whether it's negative or positive, but it could be even putting things in there that you want to accomplish this year. Your journal could be kind of like your goal setting, but it could also be a journal of just like, moments that you want to capture. I always get mad at myself that I don't do it even on my grandson, like things that he's done that has been kind of cool, because you can't always go back and remember those. But I think that you could put phrases in there. You could put things in there that you hear, uplifting things. We've been very fortunate that a lot of people have been posting things on our Facebook group that we've had. Lori, you're usually one that is Johnny on the spot with some of these like really good quotes and stuff. And we encourage people to do that. And those are the kind of things that maybe sometimes you could write down in a journal, so that when you're having a really piss poor attitude or a bad day, you can open it up and you can be like, okay, I need to be thankful for that or whatever. And maybe write down, maybe even put in there, I am so thankful for this, this, and this, because we can forget that very easily. And that's not good. So,
No, it isn't. And you know what? Another thing too is, have you ever had a journal from high school or a journal from years ago, and ever open it up and read some of the stuff in there? And it was really strange because I always was very faithful to God and all that, but it goes back years with me. And I've opened up a couple of times and I'm like, wow. Or, hey, another thing is, how Facebook, when it comes back with things that you've posted like years ago,
hmm hmm
I read some of my prayers I put in there, like from 10 years ago, and I'm like, wow, I still had that same faith and I still have the same feelings about stuff. So, I think it's your journey, but you got to remember too is that is our journey, whether you want people to read it or not, but after you're gone, how awesome that is.
yeah.
Maybe a grandkid in their 20s and they're reading your thing, and all of a sudden they say, wow, my grandma was just like me, she felt the same way about me. So it's a great thing. It's a great thing to learn about ourselves too. Sometimes until you write on paper, then you do. Like
Yeah.
mine always says how much I weighed at the time in high school. I'm obsessed with it.
Oh,
So, but Debbie, with that, anything else to say on that?
no, they're good. I'm just gonna move to the next one and say fill a jar. Okay, so you can fill a jar with a lot of stuff. Okay, you can have don't be negative kind of things, and like if you say a negative thing, you can put something in there. But what if you were to fill a jar with little pieces of paper that had things that you had gratitude for, or moments that happened? And when you have a very overwhelmed day, or you just feel like you're just having a bad moment or whatever, you go over there and you grab one of those notes out of that jar and you literally read it and go, okay. And sometimes, and you don't know what one you're going to pick up. And I tell you, sometimes things happen for a reason. My mother always said that. And maybe you were just meant to read that little note at that moment to put you back in perspective, to put you back on track,
Oh,
So,
yeah, and you know what? I have my dad's things in my head, but I want to write them down because there's going to be a time where I'm not going to remember them all. But like your mom and my dad, that generation was really good about giving giving advice, giving
Yep.
affirmations. If you don't know what
Yes.
affirmations are, look it up. It's just telling people the positive things about them.
Right.
We all want to feel accepted. We all want to
Mm-hmm.
feel like what we're doing is right.
Mm-hmm.
We need to give a lot of like that kind of affirmations. Not that I'm getting out of the jar thing, but it's true.
No.
People
Right.
that are really struggling, I know some
Mm-hmm.
people in the family that are really struggling, and distant family and stuff. And I just been thinking about them a lot and thinking, you know what, I'm gonna write them a note and tell them, hey, and one of them I even asked to speak to them. So I have some things I want to talk to them about. But affirmations, because there's so much negative. I don't mean to keep saying it, but it's so much. Let's
Yeah.
be positive. Let's
Right.
start this year off with gratitude, practice gratitude. And it's our journey. It's the journey that at the end of the year, when we're going into 2023, we're going to say, you know what? We had a good year mentally, and we had a good year in what we did. That's all that
Mm-hmm.
matters. Deb, you have
Mm-hmm.
anything to say?
Yeah, I do. Laura, I love what you were just saying, and I think that we need to be the example to others, because
I
it's kind of like
other
it's who you are, who you associate with. But if we can affect people on the opposite way, like, and kind of pay those blessings forward of just kind of being that way. I
right.
mean, I feel like, and we've talked about this before, and we've talked about it on our platform too, about how, like, as the woman of the household, or the woman in the relationship, or it doesn't even matter what, but the dynamics of that people kind of look to us at points in times, like our kids or our grandkids, or whatever. And if we're deflated and have a piss poor attitude, or we are not gracious and all that, it's gonna be a trickle down effect. But if we're that, like, person that's uplifting people, it's gonna help, it's gonna rub off on others. Okay. And even wherever you are, I don't care where you are, I talk to the jewel cashier and I'm like, oh, compliment them, or say things, or do whatever, and try to bring the spirit up, because you don't know what kind of day that person's having.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what's going on in their life. You don't know. And so if we can be that way, we can make the world better just by doing things like that. Okay.
Yeah, we lost one of the biggest things that really helped us with expression to people, and that's covering our mouths with the mask.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I think people are now starting to look at people's eyes, and I think we're learning how to do expression with our eyes,
Right.
and that's really important. And it's very important for our kids too, because I was just
Yep.
listening yesterday that a lot of these kids, that was the way they learned how to communicate with people, by seeing their face. So
Mm-hmm.
we really have to do extra hugs,
Right.
extra kisses,
Mm-hmm.
extra everything. And it is, I'm sure this, Debbie. I think it's true that the more somebody feels good and positive about themselves, the more they want to go out and succeed and be
Mm-hmm.
to be. So
Mm-hmm.
let's all take that for an example. Not only work with ourselves, because that's very important. That's what I'm going to do a lot this year,
Mm-hmm.
but to also express how we feel in a positive way. Get that
Yes.
negative out. Like I said, you could turn on the internet and read a story, and and it could be all lies. But
Right.
and your mind thinks, well, this is not right. Then you
Right.
can read another story. It's complete opposite. Get some positive things, people, and
Right.
get yourself going in a great journey this year.
Absolutely. And I think one thing too, Laura, we talked about just in a little bit of a close here of stuff, is that, cleaning house in your life, cleaning house in your life, get the negative out, get the distractions out, get the things that are not working out for you, and kind of do a cleaning house in your life. I mean, it's not too late to start. And people say, oh, your New Year's resolution at the beginning of the month. You know what? No one but yourself can hold yourself accountable with that kind of stuff. Go ahead and reboot. Just pick yourself up and just dust yourself off and go, okay, let's start again. It's okay. I mean, why can't you have a new resolution any point in time? That's okay. So
Right.
with that, Laura, I'm going to ask you to close us out.
Okay, just a couple more things is,
Mhm.
what? We are all experts at starting again.
Yep.
So don't feel bad about that, you
Right.
know? We're start again people. So we gotta
Mhm.
keep in our minds, start again people, start again people. Okay. With that, I just want to say again, thank you for all the prayers and all the people that were so concerned about us. And I do want to say, I'm praying for all, Debbie and I are praying for all the people that have COVID out there and are struggling. And we have, I know a couple people that lost significant people in their lives because of COVID. So let's keep everybody in prayer. And again, Debbie and I are so excited for this year. We
Yep.
feel that this is going to be an awesome journey, and we're just so excited to be here with you. And we realized how much we missed you when we weren't here. So
Yes.
with that, I want to say, everyone, have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll see. Well, I'm planning to see you on Wednesday.
Absolutely. We're back to our schedule. Woo!
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Love y'all.
Love ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.